Hey, how's it going everyone? Yaniv here, and today I'm going to show you how to actually increase your sales in your Amazon business using basic marketing and business principles applied correctly to your Amazon business. So obviously this is going to take me some time to go over, and this might not be the most glamorous video out there, but if you guys are looking to increase your business or do this the right way the first time, then obviously take the 10 minutes that I'm going to go over and actually, write some notes, implement this stuff in your business, and then you'll be sure to see some results pretty quickly. So this video right here might be part one of two parts. In this video, I'm going to talk to you guys more about the marketing, kind of foundations and what really moves the needle. And if you guys do like and you want to see another video, then I'm going to show you guys how to actually implement these things into your business, super practically, and how to increase sales very, very quickly. So obviously, if you guys don't have 10 minutes, then see ya. But good luck in your business, because honestly, if you can't take 10-15 minutes to learn this stuff, then you really stand no chance. So let's get right into the video, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So the first business principle we're going to talk about is defaulting to simple. And if you guys don't know what this is actually a theory, I guess, that I heard first from Sam Ovens. If you guys don't know who Sam Ovens is, the guy is a genius. But I'm going to help you guys apply this to actually Amazon FBA. So basically, defaulting to simple is a pretty simple thought process. The thought process is that simple is always better. Complexity equals much more moving parts. And with a lot of moving parts, then you don't know what's going on, and you don't know how to optimize, you don't know how to scale, you can't really do anything when things get really, really crazy. So basically what you want to do is you always want to default to simple, and you need to build your business as simple as possible. So let me give you guys a few examples of what I mean by this, right? So one thing that if you guys are looking to do a bunch of variations, or if you have a lot of variations, that's one thing you need to worry about a lot, right? Because if you ever went to a restaurant or anything like that, and you have a huge menu and you really don't know what to order, right? There's just so many things to order that you get this thing called decision fatigue. And then eventually you just say, fuck it, and you just pick something. And the worst thing is that when that's applied to Amazon, if you have too many options, or if people are thinking too long on your page, what ends up happening is they have a lot of things to think about also, right? They have to think about whether or not your product should be purchased over your competitors. They also have to think about whether, which variation of your product they should buy. And what ends up happening is that, let me just show you. What ends up happening is that when they're making these decisions, it looks like a graph, okay? And again, this is something I learned from Sam Ovens, and it's called decision fatigue. Meaning that when you start off your day, you're super fresh, you're making good decisions. But then towards the end of your day, you start making bad decisions. And this can also be applied to, Amazon and when people are making purchase decisions. So at first they come to your listing, they might be making good decisions, but when they're looking at all your different variations, they end up saying, I don't know what the hell to buy. They're all similar, but I don't know which one I like or which one I want to do. And then they get decision fatigue. They end up making a rash decision. And what might end up happening is that they might not be happy with the product, which means that they'll leave you a bad review because they didn't get the variation that they wanted or whatever. And then also, they might return it. So you might get more returns. And this actually, this defaulting to simple isn't just for variations. It's for anything, right? If in your marketing, if you're doing, PPC, Facebook ads, chat bots, wherever else the hell is out there, right? And you start doing all these things, what ends up happening is that you start to get stuck in a loop of complexity where you can never find your way out. And once something is super complex, it's also very, very difficult to scale. So if you want to scale your business anywhere, you need to be simple and lean, right? And that's kind of our mentality in defaulting to simple. The next thing is actually selling before you build. And obviously this might, kind of sound like maybe you know it already. And the truth is, we do this in a certain sense, right? We need to make sure that we know that the product will sell before we actually go out and invest in it and do all that stuff. But the truth is, Jungle Scout or whatever else you're using to actually find the products, and the tools that you're using, that's one thing. But that's only testing the market demand. That's not testing how you're going to sell the product in that market. Because obviously, if you're looking for products, they obviously have a demand, and that's what you're going into. But how are you going to compete with the sea of competition out there? And that's why you need to understand how you're going to sell the product before you build it, or before you go out and invest in it and you do all this stuff. Now, this is also a very basic business principle nowadays, that you need to understand how you're going to sell it before you actually go out and do it. So you need to know your market. You need to know and analyze who's shopping, who's actually the ones that you're selling to. So for example, if you're selling birthday supplies, right? You need to understand, okay, who's probably the people, going out there and buying these things. It might be most likely, more women than men are buying these things, and maybe they're for children, parties or stuff like that. So you need to cater to the people who are actually purchasing your thing. And that was a total guess, but you need to go through and you need to analyze your market. You need to understand that 99% of people will not do this, but that's why 99% of people won't really succeed in building a scalable, huge business. And that's a huge thing to know before you actually go out and do that, right? Testing market demand is one thing, but actually understanding how you're going to sell it and your unique selling proposition is a completely other thing, right? You're also going to need this to be able to speak to your market and for them to actually be able to understand and internalize what you're telling them. The next thing is emotional selling. And basically what this one is again, this is number 3. And what this one is you need to understand that when you are selling a product to someone, you're selling them an outcome. You're not selling them features or anything like that, right? People don't care. So what I have here is people don't buy products or features. They buy feelings. They buy with emotion, and then they justify with logic. So if you're listing and your whole offer is crafted based on your features and how awesome your product is, and all the widgets, knickknacks, and knobs and twisties that your product has, that's awesome. And some people will want that. But the truth is, people don't buy based on logic. People buy on emotion and then justify their purchase with logic. So you need to understand that you need to sell your product emotionally. And here's, just a diagram that I have here. Let me just kind of draw it out for you guys here. So we have, and this is again something that I actually picked up from Sam Ovens. So there's a lot, you'll see a kind of repeating trend here, but this is where you are now. And then, so that's your situation now. And this is where you want to go. So let's say, for example, when someone's buying, someone wants to go out and they want to, they want to put up a painting, but the truth is they don't have a drill or a screwdriver to put up that painting. So their current situation, like where they are now, is that, hey, I need to put this painting up. Otherwise it's just sitting on the, on the floor, and I need to get it up right now. So then what they do is they need to decide that, hey, I need to go buy a screwdriver. So they come on Amazon or whatever, right? And their desired situation is not that they need a screwdriver. Their desired situation is that they want the painting hung up, right? They don't care about the screwdriver. They don't care about the hole that the they do care about the hole that the screwdriver is going to make. They don't care about the screwdriver or the knickknacks and knobs and whatever else crap and features you have on it, okay? So what you want to do is you need to understand why they're there in the first place and how your product can get them to where they actually want to go. So you need to place yourself right here in the middle with your offer. So this is your offer, and your offer needs to show them how they're going to get from this situation to this desired situation, right? So, and the way you do this is obviously agitate their current situation, meaning that if they want to get that painting on the wall, in your pictures, you can show paintings that can't, that aren't put up on walls, or for example, instead of, most people will show a painting on a wall. So agitate the situation of, hey, in the copy, you might say, need to put, this is off the top of my head, but agitate the fact that they cannot get the painting on the wall without your product, okay? And that's very, very important. That's emotional selling. And obviously you have logical selling as well in there, but that's just for them to justify their purchase. The initial thing, the one that gets people to buy, is based on emotion. On this same topic, right? People actually try to move away from pain more than people move towards pleasure. So that's why we want to agitate the current situation. We want them to feel how bad it sucks to not have your painting on the wall, as dumb as that sounds, right? And then rather than showing them how awesome it would be to have the painting on the wall. So people move away from pain more than they move towards pleasure. And obviously pain is the biggest, factor in people making a decision. So you need to understand that, one thing I have written down here is that if your product doesn't have something, painful, right? There's no pain to it, then that's fine. You can use pleasure, of course, because not every product has a pain point, but a lot of products do. And you need to understand that you need to agitate the pain more rather than moving towards pleasure. And another thing on this same topic is that you don't want to actually tell your product's features and all that stuff so often, because I'm going to show you guys a video right now of Steve Jobs talking about product marketing. And I want you guys to actually pay attention to this, all right? It's only 10 seconds. And I'll put it right now.
The best example of all, and one of the greatest jobs of marketing the universe has ever seen is Nike. Remember, Nike sells a commodity. They sell shoes. And yet when you think of Nike, you feel something different than a shoe company. In their ads, as you know, they don't ever talk about the product. They don't ever tell you about their air soles and why they're better than Reebok's air soles. What does Nike do in their advertising? They honor great athletes and they honor great athletics. That's who they are. That's what they are about.
So there you go. Okay, what it just played basically shows that, don't talk about your air soles or your features of your product. You talk about the essence of what you're trying to sell. And that is almost, obviously we can't always do that with every product, but having that at the back of your head is something you really need to understand and something you really need to work towards in your marketing. Another very important thing he said there is don't talk about your competitors, right? They don't talk about Reebok or anything like that. They talk about themselves and they worry about themselves. There's far too often I'm seeing people on Amazon comparing one product to another product. Hey, ours is better. This is that. Instead of doing that, just focus on you. Focus on making you the best. Because the people who, guess what? The people who are making the most money, they don't care about second, third, fourth, fifth place. They focus on themselves. Second, third, fourth, fifth place are the ones that are worrying about and doing that stuff to place number one. All right, so worry about yourself. Worry about making yourself the best. Number 4 is pretty kind of similar on that same topic. It's show, don't tell. Similar. Show, don't tell. It's similar on that same topic where you don't want to, explain all the features and do all that stuff and write it out for people. You can do that by showing it in pictures. So in a picture, instead of showing, hey, look how awesome, when you see a product and there's all this writing on their infographics and stuff. No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to tell the customer how awesome your product is. You want your customer to be able to look at your picture and understand, hey, okay, this is good because there's reinforced on, plastic on this side, or there's reinforced this, or it's a better material quality. And they need to be able to tell this from just your pictures. You telling them that is not going to, make them believe it, right? You need to understand that they need to make that decision on themselves and they need to see that rather than you telling them. So that's kind of a difference there as well. And this is kind of a quicker one, but again, don't just go on raving about your features, show them rather than telling them. And this one is actually number 5. And this one is very, very, very important. Okay. People are wired this way. People are naturally wired to reciprocate anything good that you do to them or, anything bad that you do to them. So if you are to be able to, take advantage of the situation and understand human psychology and how people work, you're able to really capitalize on this one basic human instinct. So one way you can do this is by, for example, putting in a bonus item in your packaging. And don't advertise this anywhere. Okay, don't advertise this anywhere. Not on your listing, not anywhere. And when someone gets it, they see the bonus item and they see your, insert card. It says, hey, we'd love if you could leave us a review. They put the two together and they feel like they owe you something because you gave them something extra that they weren't really expecting. And they're happy about it and they want to make you happy as well, right? They want to help you as well because you've helped them. So that's the law of reciprocity, and that way you can get a lot more reviews that way and just a much better customer experience, less returns and that kind of stuff. And that's a really great way and a really, kind of cool way to increase your reciprocity with your customers. Another thing you can do is also, just putting in a, simple 20-30% off coupon, that comes with your product for something else that you sell. And that's also something that makes people want to go out and buy because you've showed them, you've given them something that they weren't expecting, and now they want to thank you by, doing that for you as well. And that's just a basic human, instinct and human psychology, and you can search that up anywhere. It's a basic law of humans. So that's the law of reciprocity. Next one is price anchoring, okay? And this one is very important too because a lot of people say, a lot of these gurus, a lot of people out here say that when you come into the market, you need to be absolutely the most premium one. You need to be the one with the highest price. You need to, all this kind of stuff. And the truth is you actually can't. When you're starting off in a market, you have no reviews, you have no sales history, you have no nothing, and no proof that your product's better than any other product. But there is a way that you can, do price anchoring and actually really capitalize on, the market. So if you have a market and there's a product that's selling for, $15 and then another one that's selling for $20, okay, well, then that means that if you're coming into the market, actually the smartest place to be is in the middle. So there's actually studies done that when you have one, like let's say a low price and a high price, most people are going to buy the low priced one, but there's also going to be a good percent of people that buy the high priced one. Now, that's only if there's 2 options. If there's 3 options or more, and you get yourself into the middle by price anchoring, so let's say you put it like $17, then actually most people will buy the middle option. Some people will buy the cheaper option. You know, there's still going to be a lot of people buy the cheaper option, and very few people are going to buy the most expensive option. So you need to understand this price anchoring theory, and you need to understand that you need to price anchor the market. And the way you do this, again, is just simple. What I just said, you need to find the price ranges and put yourself in the middle. And you can even do this right as you start, after your launch. A great place to do is just price anchor yourself in the middle of the competition, and that's proven to actually increase sales and make more money. And the last one is finding a common enemy, and this is actually one of the most powerful ones you can do to actually see success. You're going to have to be a little bit more creative in this one, but the truth is, if you're able to find a common enemy in your market, you really can skyrocket your brand and your business. Now, this is actually something that any super successful business has done in the past. If you think about it, there are things that they've pulled to make this happen. So some examples of that is, the Mac versus PC thing, the iPhone versus Android. Apple's really good at doing this. We also have, for example, right, more examples within the space of Amazon is, for example, if you have plastic bags versus, reusable bags. So obviously, if you play off that, that's a really good way to, polarize the market. So plastic versus reusable, or reusable straws versus paper straws, or reusable straws versus plastic straws. And you can really find, if you can find a common enemy in your market and you can stand out from it there, it's one of the most powerful ways to really dominate a market and to actually build a super successful brand. And like I said, you can go back into any single business, okay, and at some point, to really blow up, they found a common enemy and they polarize the market. And that's something you need to do. And you might not be able to do this at first, but this is definitely something you want to be doing once you're scaling and growing your brand. It's a very important thing to keep in mind, to try and find a common enemy. And this is actually, again, like I said, something very common, and something that I actually learned from a book called, I don't remember what it was called, but it was I think it was One Sentence Persuasion or something. And one of the biggest things was that you need to find, a common enemy to throw rocks at. And that's what this point is. And if you're able to do this, the us versus them mentality, you're just gotta be unstoppable. Now, if you guys did enjoy that, lastly, what I want you to do is actually check out my free training. I just came out with a 20-minute free training. It's not 2 hours long, and it's gonna teach you the foundations and the systems for success. If you guys enjoyed this video, you guys will definitely love that. And know at the end, I'm not selling anything, just an opportunity to maybe hop on a call with me if you feel like this is gonna be a good fit. That's something we can do, and talk more about Amazon and kind of figure out where you are and where you want to go and what your goals are, and see if we can help you do that. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hit the first link in the description, head over to the training, register for it, and trust me, you're gonna love it. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next one.